Well, we're using my knuckles tonight, minus the gavel. So I'll call to order the meeting of Monday, February the 11th, and if the clerk would please take the roll.
Councilmember Archibald.
Here.
Councilmember Ashford.
Present.
Councilmember Beeden. Here. Councilmember Harris.
Here.
Councilmember Pemberton.
Here.
Councilmember Warden.
Here.
Mayor Rep.
Here. You have the minutes from the regular meeting of January the 14th before you. Is there a motion to receive and file?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Ashford. Is there a second?
Support.
Councilmember Pemberton. Is there any changes, additions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes stand as submitted. We do have two public hearings tonight. If the clerk would read the first one, please.
To receive comments on the general needs in community development, housing, and special services utilizing CDBG and home funds for the next fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2019.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the City Council on public hearing number 1? Please come forward and give us your name.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the council. My name is Reverend Arnold Coons. I'm the Executive Director of the Blue Water Area Rescue Mission, located at 1920 24th Street in Port Huron, Michigan. I come before you this morning, or this evening, I should say, to ask for funding from the Community Block Grant. We have seen a real need within the community, and we propose to step up and to help meet that need in providing shelter for single homeless women in St. Clair County. What we're asking of you this evening is for $27,000 to upgrade, refurbish, remodel, and prepare this facility for the women. We know that the block grant funding of the fiscal year starts in July, but we have committed, because we see there is such a drastic need within the community. We as a corporation, as a community partner, have committed that we will take $27,000 from our emergency operating fund, and we will open this facility on April 1st of this year. And we will start receiving women as of April 1st of this year. But what we're asking for you is for your support to help us replenish those funds that we will be expending. And every dime, I guarantee, will be well spent. It'll be a great investment in this community. The HUD report, data report for the third quarter of fiscal year 2018 was just released last week. And the length of stay at shelters, the statewide average is 28 days. Blue Water Area Rescue Mission, the average stay is 21 days. A positive destination upon exit from shelter, the statewide average is 15.12%. Blue Water Area Rescue Mission is 22.02%. The recidivism rate for returning to shelter, the statewide average is 29.82%. The Blue Water Area Rescue Mission recidivism rate is 20.93%. I do believe that we're doing a good job, that we are being a good community partner, and we are attempting to meet the needs within this community. Therefore, this evening, ladies and gentlemen, I ask for your support with the block grant funding.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to come forward and speak to public hearing number 1?
Good evening, City Council and Port Huron. I'm Tyrone Burrell, the Executive Director, founder of the Sons Organization, and we just like to bring for the consideration for City Council in regards to the Community Development Block Grants, an ask of $75,000 to go toward the first phase of our plans to build a community center to serve youth in our community at our address of 3001 Electric Avenue. And Sons has been around for 27 years. Saying we've been the best vagabond organization on record, with really having no home, utilizing the school district and churches, and it's been very, very good, enabling us to reach over 750 kids a year. Add another 2,000 with what we do with our You Are Loved event, school assemblies. But to have a home, a place where parents and students know where we're at, has been a dream of ours. And we just thank you for your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who wishes to address the council on public hearing number 1?
Good evening, council and staff. My name is Sharon Bender. I live on South Boulevard in Port Huron, and I'm here in support of both of the requests for CDBG block grant money. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address public hearing number 1? Seeing none, I will declare a public hearing, because my knuckles are going to take it tonight. Oh, yeah, we used this phone. Closed. And we will move on to public hearing number 2.
To hear comments concerning liquor licensees delinquent in payment of taxes and/or income tax reporting and payments.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address public hearing number 2? The council does have a list in front of them.
Rick's on behalf of Rick's Rooftop, the Azar Corporation. I guess it's in regards to the liquor license with the taxes. To my knowledge, we were behind, I guess, with filing proceedings and that. It was out of my hands with my accountant. We did file those as of last Friday. I think there's a delinquent amount of $1,700, and we do plan on having that caught up within the next couple of weeks here. So we're coming off a rough winter, and we really would like to, since I'm here, I would like to ask the city to possibly get behind me with some issues and problems that we have with the building at this present time over there. There's a lot of things that I know that's probably out of the realm of things here, but we're finding it very hard to conduct business in this building due to the landlord not making any repairs to the building. We've had numerous of people being stuck in the elevators, and fire department called, had to be removed. The jaws of life had to break the elevators, so now the elevators have been broken for the past month. So it makes it hard for our customers once they hear that they're scared to even come up there, I think, sometimes. So then the roof is caving in all over the building, and I have numerous videos and that we're in basically getting ready to go to litigation with the building, but I'm almost at the point of asking the city to do some checking on this building. So,
We will have Mr. Freed look into it.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
just a housekeeping measure. This list comes out every year. They have until I think it's March 2nd is the drop dead date, March 25th. So typically these all get taken care of. This is kind of just a housekeeping measure.
Is there anyone else who wishes to address public hearing number 2? Seeing no one, I'll declare public hearing number 2 closed. You like the phone? We will move on to public comment. This is the time when you can come and speak to the council on any item that's before us or under our jurisdiction. If you'd like to come forward, you have 4 minutes. And just please give us your name and come to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. My name is Natasha Hayden. I'm part of the marketing team at McMorrin Place, and this is Ryan Bricker. He's a member of my team as well. Today we're here to talk about Hockeyville and how we are running for the title for 2019. So it's actually to ask your support on doing that, right? Hockeyville is an NHL initiative, and it runs annually throughout nationwide. And it's an opportunity for us to bring an NHL preseason game to McMorran and also win $150,000 in grant for renovations for our arena. So we're very excited to be part of it, and in order to win one of those, we would need a lot of community support. And Ryan will be walking through like 4 different ways that you can do that.
Yeah. So just briefly, the way the system works, they set up a community rally, and so every community you can nominate a rink, and our rink has already been nominated. And so once your rink is nominated, then you have people go in and submit a story or submit photos and videos to show support, and they call that the rally phase. And once you get through the rally phase, the way that works is if someone goes in and submits a story, which they have question prompts that you answer, and that's leads to a story about why McMorran or Port Huron is Hockeyville, USA. And once you get that, you get a total of 10 rally points for each story. If you post photos, you can get 3 rally points. Videos are the same. So the goal is to have the majority of the rally points, so when they go to the judging phase, they read through and assess your story and your photos and videos, and they decide the top 4 finalists. And from there, then it's a voting round. It's a public voting round. So we're looking to get to the top 4 coming up here in March 2nd. Is the date.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Is that something we can publicize on our
Yes.
webpage? So that, I'm sure it's on the McMorran webpage too, but if we put it on the cities so that we can promote that, so.
It'll be on the start page tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thank you much.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening?
Good evening. My name is Bruce Morrison. I live at 807 Prospect Place, and I'd like to speak, first of all, thank you all for your service to my new hometown. I'd like to speak for a moment in support of the Pine Grove Park improvements. We are adjacent neighbors across the street. I think all of you are aware this park is absolutely gorgeous, gets a tremendous amount of use, and I think that the improvements that have been proposed are clearly needed, but will certainly make a fabulous park even better. So I just would ask you that you all support that item on the agenda a little bit later on this evening. Thank you again for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you very much.
Good evening again, Madam Mayor and council members and staff. I am here to support Resolution 19-012 and 19-013 regarding the applications for grants for improvements to McMorran for accessibility issues and for the installation of recreation equipment. I am heartily in support of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the city council this evening? Seeing no one, will declare public comment closed and move on with the agenda. Consent agenda, is there a motion? So moved. Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, is there a second?
Madam Mayor, can we remove number 4?
From the city manager?
No, from resolution number 4.
Number 4 under resolutions, you want that removed?
Yes.
Is that a second also? Did you second the motion as well?
Yes, I'll second the motion.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Ashford. We'll take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Mayor Rapp?
Yes. Items that were on the consent agenda, we authorized and supported the submission of a grant application to the Alden and Veda Dow Family Foundation for the purpose of improvements to McMorran Place Plaza and Park to provide greater accessibility and flexibility for everyone regardless of physical challenges. Confirm the appointments of Trista Colts, Mary Seeley, and Gary Stolt to the 2019 Board of Review with compensation in the amount of $600 per year per member and setting their meeting dates. As well, approve the reappointment of Kathleen Morozic to the Beautification Commission with a term to expire January 30th, 2022, and approve the rescheduling of a public hearing for March 11th to hear comments on the proposed 2019 annual action plan. Under ordinances, gave an ordinance at second reading and enactment, which was one to amend Chapter 52 zoning, and it was to rezone property generally described as 2125 Military Street from A1 zoning, which is medium-density, multiple-family residential, to B zoning district, which is neighborhood business district. And with that, we will go back to, from the city manager, number 1.
Accepting the bid from Polymath Development LLC in the amount of $471,771 for the construction of restrooms and parking improvements at Pine Grove Park.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, is there a second?
Support.
Councilmember Beeden, is there discussion?
Mayor Rep,
Councilmember Ashford.
I agree with the gentleman that stood before us. This is a premier park, and I think if we want to, continue that way, the upgrades are more than, necessary to do that, to keep that update. So certainly I'll be voting for this without any problems.
Absolutely. Anyone else have any comments?
Mayor Rep.
Councilmember Warden.
Just the main comment is these 24 additional parking spaces there on the east side as you near the ball diamond there. Pretty much that's, I think, where everybody parks when they're playing softball anyway. So now at least it'll be a paved line spot. So I think that was a nice choice to, that's where everybody's parking already. That's where they want it. So I'm in support of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mayor Rep,
Councilmember Harris.
I just kind of got a comment. The last couple of years, we've really, the decline in baseball use of Pine Grove Park has kind of gone down a little bit significantly, and a lot of the championship matches and stuff have gone to other states like Wisconsin. And I think with us adopting this tonight, I think we have to somehow now to get to the Portland Athletic Sports thing and tell them to start promoting our park as their park. It's just, it's a shame. I mean, I love sitting up Pine Grove Park in the summer and seeing it happen, and the events have really dropped off the last couple of years, so I think we have to encourage the use of it too, so thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other comments?
Madam Mayor, I just want to remind everyone that to thank Nancy and Kim Harmer in grant writing. This is from a DNR grant for $275,000 to help make this happen. The design will be similar to the facilities at Lakeside Beach. Councilman Warren mentioned the parking spots as well, the 24 additional spots. You are correct, they're just popping the curb, parking in the lawn, and that does present a safety issue. Additionally, on nice afternoons and even when the ice is flowing, the parking spots fill up quickly for those who want to just watch the boats go by. For a lot of our senior citizens, they can pull up and not get out of their car and watch the boats and ships, and so that'll provide for both the sporting events and also the viewers. Additionally, this will be able to save cost in the long run as not having to lease porta-johns, because we will actually have a bathroom facility there now.
So in case in point, these upgrades are all practical usages that do make the difference. The bathrooms and all that. And also when you're on that side where the balls be coming over, you're hitting the cars and everything, so the added parking and put somewhere else is better, because when the balls got my car one time, I didn't knock it out. But this is, the schematics here are certainly, they're just outstanding. So it's a good thing.
Any other comments? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 2, please.
Accepting the quote from PM Blog Incorporated in the amount of $16,750 for professional consulting services for the redesign of Lighthouse Park.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Ashford, is there a second?
Support?
Councilmember Pemberton?
Madam Mayor and Council, before you have an engineering agreement, this is really a collaborative approach to designing our parks to integrate with our trail system. So the County Parks and Recreation is working with the Wilson Foundation to fill the gaps for the Lake to Lake Trail, which goes from South Haven to Port Huron. As part of that process, is we will be working to design into this DNR project at the Lighthouse Beach, a trailhead. So you can literally bike from South Haven, Michigan, all the way across the state to Port Huron and have a nice trailhead to go there. So this will be working with their designers. We've worked with this firm on multiple issues. I believe we're working with them on the plaza design as well for the McMorrans. We have experience with this firm, and so this will help tie in our assets. And so we just didn't pick a firm. We tried to be working to make sure the project's connected on it. So
Yes, Councilmember Ashford.
Is this the first time we use this firm to
No.
redesign a part? So they have been,
they've worked with the county parks and recreation all across the county. They're working with us in the McMorran Plaza doing an excellent job. So we do have some experience.
oh, okay, thank you.
Mayor Rep?
Yes, Councilmember Ward.
Just St. Clair County Parks and Rec is using this firm for, it looks like these this project or these projects. Are we just contributing additional funds for that design part, or what part is St. Clair County Parks and Recs?
So this is for the design of our park projects. This is a Port Huron Parks project. The reason why we're working with their designers, one, we like this design firm. They do an excellent job. And so if you separate St. Clair County Parks, we would probably still go with this firm because they're that good.
Okay.
However, we really want to integrate our trail system better. And we do believe that the County Parks and Recreation will be offering additional capital funding on this project to help facilitate the trailhead completion.
Okay, that's what because St. Clair County Parks, I think the director or the guy that's there, actually, his office is over there, and I think Lighthouse Park right there. So, yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
Mayor Rep,
Councilmember Harris?
I just wanted to reiterate what the city manager said, PM Blow Corporation, and basically, they started doing work with the Columbus Township Park and some of the others for the county and the Fort Gratiot Park, and their record speaks for themselves. I think it's a safe bet.
Any other comments? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes,
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 3.
Accepting the bid from Bodie Construction Company Incorporated in the amount of $3,349,388.13 for the Quay and Michigan Street reconstruction project.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilmember Pemberton, is there a second?
support?
Councilmember Ashford, could you give
Yes.
us a little update?
Madam
please?
Mayor, this is for the reconstruction. I believe we have a map of the project. This is probably one of the most significant street projects we're doing because of, one, its location. We are phasing this project in 3 different phases, and that's because we want to ensure that there's accesses to businesses at all time. We don't want to just shut down all of Quay or shut down Michigan and adversely affect our business community. There will be, no doubt, challenges in pulling this project off. But to little history, the water main going underneath Quay Street is from the 1800s. So it's like 1885, I believe that water main time is still. So we got our money's worth. That's the good news. But it's time to replace it. The street above it was put in 1959. Quay to Grand River was put in 1960. We also got our money's worth. And in 1989, Grand River and McMorran was done. So these assets have been significantly long overdue. The challenges of this project are, one, the phasing, also the grade. The restaurant on the corner of Quay and Michigan sits significantly below grade, and so it has to be done right as to not flood them out. Also the phasing to protect our businesses. Additionally, there's about $500,000 of contaminated soils that need to be removed. And the soils are both contaminated, but also not good soils to build a road on. So if we put a utility line underneath there and a road on top of it, if they're not removed, we won't get the compaction necessary, and the road will break up in 10 to 15 years. So we want to be sure that we can build a road that's going to last just as long as this one did, if not longer. This project will be done over 2 different budget cycles. So you'll have funding for the spring version of the project, and then you'll have funding past July 1st for the second version. And so we'll address the remaining of this project in our upcoming budget. But this is going to be a significant project. One of the benefits, as you see on Michigan Avenue, we've widened it by just a couple feet, and that's going to add, in addition to the parking spots that are already there, when we angle it, we can add 23 additional parking spots and on-street parking, so that residents will be able to to easily walk to all those businesses. It'll also add for a sidewalk, which right now, from Quay all the way to Grand River, there's really not much of a sidewalk. It's kind of a glorified curb. And so this will be pedestrian-friendly, but also add additional parking, much-needed parking in our downtown. One of the things we've done is we've incorporated old-fashioned streetlights in there as well. So if you look at if you look at Superior Mall behind Sperry's and Chef Shell's, that used to be like essentially a dark alley, and now it looks like a second Main Street. We will carry that design and theme on this project as well. So it'll get started in the spring. We've had numerous roundtables with our business community. They actually directed how this phasing will go. So we pulled in all the businesses from around the area. I think Councilman Warden, you were at a couple of those, I believe. And we asked them, how can we pull this project off to limit the adverse effects on your business? It's no doubt going to be a challenge. One of the reasons why we held off on it a couple years is because after the East Quay project, East Quay parking lot project, we kind of wanted to give a reprieve, give them a little break before we did it. But this needs to be done. Our water system is looped, so even though we don't live on Quay Street, that good chance all of our drinking water flows through that more than 100-year-old water main. So that's the gist of the project. We got some really good competitive bids, and so we're grateful for that.
The reason the price is up a little bit is because of the contamination.
It's the contamination, correct.
Because I think it was estimated to be a little less than that to begin with.
Yep, you are correct.
Is there any other questions from council?
Well, just to piggyback from yours, the cost is up. Is the time frame still the same dealing with that?
Time frame will be the same, and the reason why is we kind of want to get it over to cause least effects in the downtown.
Okay. And then also, I'd like to thank the administration, because I think you brought the businesses together and you brought the council people to get together, and I think you invited the public also.
Yep.
So we did have an in-depth knowledge of what is being proposed to us today. I think we had that sometime last year in 2017. So thank you.
And, you bring up a great point. They're there every day, so things that we don't think about, they bring to our attention. We're not there every day. I don't know how the delivery trucks show up. I don't know how the Cisco truck's going to drop off the food if there's no road there. So bringing those people in really gave us a much broader scope on what the daily need is down there, and moreover makes us know that this project is the right time.
Yeah, and then also, I don't want to talk too much, but the communication of the traffic, the foot traffic and everything, you had that available to the businesses also, that so people won't be inadvertently inconvenienced in any way. So I thought that was key also.
And it'll start when?
The spring.
When the
Spring.
weather breaks?
When the weather breaks.
Which we never know. Any other questions, comments?
Mayor Rapp,
Councilmember Warden?
again, this is long overdue. It's good to see that this is going to be finally going, and the solutions with the input resulting in those additional parking spaces kind of angled is kind of a good solution. I just have a quick question. I've been around since those meetings, kind of just looking around, trying to get a feel for the width of the sidewalks, and I see in here, it'll be 8-foot wide sidewalk is mentioned here along Quay Street. But I thought somewhere in the meeting, the sidewalks on Michigan Street from Quay up to Grand River, on that side, the west side, they said it might even be not 8 feet wide, even smaller. And I think right now they might be 10 feet wide. And there's a couple, power poles. So I just was wondering about the size, if that 8-foot wide mention of the sidewalk is also going to be, because that's not very wide for a sidewalk on the east side there, or
It's where
west
the
side.
designated Bridge to Bay Trail is the wider version. 8 foot is actually a bike trail width, and so we're trying to make it to fit in with the Bridge to Bay Trail.
Okay.
But I can get you the drawings for the rest of the sidewalks.
Yeah, we just want to kind of follow up on that side, just so I can get an idea of how small those sidewalks going to be on that, basically the west side of that Michigan
It'll be
to
at least
Quay.
5 feet.
5 feet.
At least 5 feet.
So I think, okay.
One last thing I forgot to mention, this will be the removal for traffic signals as well at Michigan Street and Grand River, converting that to a 4-way stop. Since the day I moved back to town, there has nothing that irritated me more than the traffic lights along Michigan. They haven't been needed. If you did a traffic warrant study, they should have never been there. They cost a fortune to run and maintain, and there's nothing worse than stopping at a traffic light when nobody is there the entire time, multiple times a day. So those traffic lights will be coming out and shifting to 4-way traffic.
Any other comments, questions? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 4 under from the city manager.
Receive and file the quarterly financial report for the 6-month period ending December 31st, 2018.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, is there a second?
Support?
Councilmember Beeden, could we have a brief overview of the?
Yes. I'm very proud of this financial report. One, our revenues are up because of the public safety millage, as expected. However, you can see that our expenditures are about 2% lower than they were this time last year, as encumbered. And the reason why that's important is we're not on a spending spree here. We recognize that the citizens of this community gave us additional revenue to ensure public services, but at the same time, we're still focusing on reducing the cost of government and reining in our spending. And so I think that's important year over year, about 2% from placeholder of last year. So the financial report is looking good. We are on target and beating expectations.
Very good. Any questions for the city manager?
Mayor Rep,
Councilmember Harris.
I looked at it a little bit more today, and I guess the only thing that kind of startles me a little bit is the trend with McMorrin, on the McMorrin side. You know, we're with a budget of $676,000, we're kind of trending high because the revenues are at $465, operations at $698,000, and with capital investments at $93,906. I know it's early and things start smoothing out a little bit at McMorrin with the hockey season kind of shutting the rinks down a little bit and stuff, but I just hope this isn't the trend that continues to the end. It's quite large.
Well, thank you, Councilman. You bring up a good point. The capital was significant. We had a lot of repairs. I think we had a
Right.
chiller, boiler.
Oh, it's been a very unusual year.
Yeah, it's been a very
Yeah.
unusual year, but additionally, invoices for ice time to the Port Huron Hockey Association, into the Prowlers, a lot of those don't go out till the end of February, and so there's kind of a lag time period between ice rental and when revenues come in, and so that should be looking in better shape in your next quarterly.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Any other- Councilmember Ashford.
So the key performance indicators that makes it so good are what? The revenue?
Well, there's a twofold. One, our revenue came in as projected, but moreover, we're keeping costs under where we should be, about 2% below where we were this time last year. And so what you don't want to have happen when a millage passes, I don't want to create a culture where we're at ease. I want there still to be a focus on reining in cost and being diligent with people's money. And we've demonstrated that here. We've now gone through 2 quarters, which is halfway through the year, and we are now 2% under than where we were last year. That's important. So we've gotten the people's additional revenue and investment into our public services, and we've respected that by ensuring we continue to rein in cost.
And so how much time do we buy in between point A and Z for the millage money that we do have? So what do you see in that
This
space?
was projected into the budget. We knew the millage was coming, and we factored that into the budget.
Factoring in,
Yep.
okay. And then what is that, the investment report, it kind of helps supports that, your position
Correct.
for that. That's
Yep.
the point I was trying to make, okay,
Thank you.
all right.
Any other questions, comments?
Mayor Rep,
Councilmember Warden.
I just, as a kind of notice, I just want to kind of compliment, as we have, cash on hand and we try to utilize, CDs and trying to get the absolute top return on that money sitting there, even though it's for 90 days. I do see some of these interest rates now, even for 90 days, it looks like, 1.65%, but now it's up to 2.05, 2.25%, and now a couple out there at 2.5%. These little amounts, if you guys are staying on top and moving around to even squeeze that extra 0.25% just for making money on the money that's sitting there, it definitely helps the bottom line. So I appreciate that effort.
Councilman Warren, you bring up an excellent point. I do want to note, a few months ago, I pulled $5.8 million from one financial institution because our interest rate was subpar compared to what other banks were doing. That bank came back to us, made us an offer for almost, I think it was, Ed, I want to say 2% more?
Yeah.
$5.8 million on 90 days at 2%. It's a lot of money, and so we're constantly mindful in making sure that we're staying competitive with our rates, and when we manage our fiduciary holdings, we keep that mindset, and to the bank's credit, they came back with a better deal, and we shipped our money back. But if I had $5.8 million of my own money, I'd do the same thing.
And with that, is there any further discussion? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. We'll move on to resolutions. Number 1.
Authorizing 5 payments.
So move.
Is there a second? Support. Thank you. Any discussion?
Mayor Rep,
Councilmember Harris.
my question isn't so much about the payment, but in number 5, the payment to reasonable roofing and stuff, I was looking at James's summary for the last month or so, and he had mentioned something about the on and off the job with this company and doing their work, and I don't want to pay somebody that's not doing their work.
So there's, the weather has been a factor as well, but we do have to pay for our materials, but we will hold the rest.
I'm glad you mentioned it, but I
Yeah.
mean, it really caught my eyes. so.
Yeah, they'll come back for they've covered their materials, but I assure you they'll come back for their other 26
Okay.
grand.
Thank you. Yep.
Any other questions, comments? We will take the vote.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Item 2, please.
Authorizing the sale of a vacant industrial lot at 2700 20th Street to Michigan Metal Holdings Company for $70,000.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Support. Mayor Pro Tem Archibald and Councilmember Pemberton, is there any discussion?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford.
Here in the city, what's the capacity now out there?
Yep, let me have David Haynes come up and speak to this issue. He's been our lead person on this.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Oh, the capacity, how are we set out there in the industrial park area?
We're about 100% as far as occupancy. We have a couple of underutilized spaces, gray spaces, with the old former Collins and Aikman building. That's the 2100 Dove. That does have some availability of space, but other than that, we are basically filled up, and we are now to the point where we have one 8-acre piece of vacant land, another probably 13.5 to 15 acres, and then this parcel of 3.5 acres in which Michigan Metal Coatings has expressed an interest.
Oh, okay. And could you elaborate on the benefits of what we do as far as our industrial park area, trying to, when we buy these spots?
Sure. Having this property...
Sell them, I'm sorry, when we sell them.
Having this property adjacent to Michigan Metal Coatings, they have been adding employment in the past. They're looking to do so into the future. And by acquiring this piece, this allows them the opportunity to expand the footprint of their existing plant, thereby increasing investment in the park, but also creating additional jobs.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Madam Mayor, just to add to that, you bring up a great point. One of the things we've been doing is strategically assembling unused property, which we've done on Dove Street. We've been purchasing property adjacent to the industrial park. If you want to foster growth and economic growth, you have to plant a field and till a field. And the industrial park is our farm field for jobs. And making sure that we have land available and places to till and grow prosperity is what we've done. And so you can see that we're at almost 100% capacity. It's working. The method is working. It started back in the 50s. We had one of the oldest LDFA funds in the entire state. We were pioneers in Port Huron. Some of the work done back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s before I was ever born set the groundwork. Yeah, just point that out. They really made the future here, and so we just want to continue building that, continue cultivating our little farm field and little plot of land for job growth and growth prosperity in this community.
Any other questions or discussion?
Mayor Rep,
Councilmember Warden.
A couple things. First of all, I'd like to appreciate, Michigan Metal Coatings for showing the interest and potential confidence here to expand in our city. With this adjacent property at 3.5 acres, looks like the city, we're asking to agree to sell it for $70,000. And of course, my question, which I usually ask, is what did it take for us to acquire that property up to this point? And I should have actually asked you earlier. But if you have it off the top of your head, I would appreciate it. The other thing is, I did notice in here a clawback that this is stating that within 3 years from closing, that they actually have to commence the expansion onto this property, or there's a clawback where we get to purchase it back at $70,000.
Correct.
And I appreciate that in the agreement, that term, to allow us to recoup that without having to pay more if we want to purchase it back. So I support this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Thanks, David. We will take the vote.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Mayor Rep.
Yes. Resolution number 4.
Authorizing and supporting the submission of a grant application to the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation and Kaboom-sponsored Play Everywhere Challenge program for the installation of recreation equipment and creative play elements throughout the city of Port Huron.
Is there a motion?
So move. Support.
Mayor Pro Tem Archibald, supported by Councilmember Ashford, and is there discussion?
Yes, Mayor,
Yes,
can we
Councilmember.
just have her elaborate on this? I see it is a grant application, but how does it look? I mean, because it looks exciting, and I think the people should hear about that,
Yes.
if we are successful, when we are successful.
There you
Not
go.
if.
I don't use if no more, okay?
I like it.
When? Okay.
Mayor and City Council, this is basically like a letter of interest, we call it, so it's in the pre-stage. This is their grant app where they like very innovative, different ideas, and we were asked to apply like about 3 times, because we weren't really, there's no match for this grant, so that's kind of the cool thing, but they're looking for innovative ideas. So this round is just, do they like your idea or not, and then we're invited to apply from there. So basically, the 3 things that we proposed in our letter of interest, they call it, is a wiffle ball court at 16th Street, Ball Diamond, which is, I don't know, I'm sorry, well, I guess sorry about that, Jim. This would be, we got a grant to redo the courts, the basketball, we're going to do pickleball. This would fit nicely into the area that's in the back there behind the baseball fields.
Right.
And it'd be it's a smaller field, it's a wiffle ball field. So why the kids are watching, dad play behind them, it's a smaller field, and it's just more like passive play. Like if you make, or I would say like anybody can play. So it's not like you're going to have organized baseball games. It's more just for kids to come out, free play kind of thing. So that's idea number 1 at 16th Street. And this was something kind of that we pitched to Wilson a while back, and they really liked this concept. So we thought we'd try for it since we're kind of revamping that park a little bit. And then the second idea was a Gaga pit, which is another like, I don't know. At Palmer Park, it's a, what do you want to say? I'll try to say this
Octagon.
nicely. A more loving way to play dodgeball. Yeah. And so, yes, it's the new, so it's kind of a new innovative idea that we'll be doing at Palmer Park, because our day camp, which is very successful and always at capacity, that older kids there, it'll be something nice for them to do. And then our third thing was innovative play areas at bus stops, and again, we're just pitching it at this point, but we're not sure if that would be more so on the public transit system or areas that have lots of kids throughout the city. And basically, you make areas of innovative play at bus stops. So it's like maybe hopscotch, maybe, Twister, maybe you can see some examples there of
some of the, so it's really just kind of engaging kids in play, and that's kind of been our focus right now, is what's some innovative ways that we can get kids out to play, because obviously this is what consumes their life 90% of the time. So we're trying to think of ways, not just your average swing and slide that you see everywhere, but what's something totally different. And that's why things like Sprout City this summer, just pretty exciting that it's something totally different. And I think we're accomplishing it little by little, but what are these innovative ideas? So this was a really neat grant to get involved in, so we'll see what happens. So that's what our pitch is on those three.
Yeah, and I just thought we should hear that.
Yeah,
I think it's very
absolutely.
therapeutic, and it gets the kids off the
Yes.
balls, the games and everything, and, utilize their minds a little bit, engagement, so, no, it's...
To be a lot more creative than you did 25 years ago to get kids outside. So we'll keep trying things here in Port Huron and see what ideas get us on the map.
Is this the same type of a grant as what was at Optimus Park? Is there a
This is a
cooperative?
little bit different because the Kaboom grant last time was more structured to playscapes only. This is more innovative ideas, so similar to the one we got for the summertime sled hill at Palmer Park. We're awarded that one, but they have to be like totally different ideas, so that's what kind of the push on this one is. Yeah, thank you. Anything
Questions for Nancy?
Mayor Rep. Nancy, just when we submit these grant applications in, when do we, estimated time that we might be able to hear back from?
Yeah, it just depends on the grant, but this particular one, if we are invited to the next round, Kim will be putting it together in beginning of March, and we usually hear by spring.
Keep them going, thank you.
Yeah.
Very
thank you.
nice.
Thank you.
Very nice, thank you. We will take the vote.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes.
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Mayor Rapp?
Yes. We now move through to ordinance number 2.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 34 offenses of the Port Huron Code of Ordinance for the purpose of updating the chapter and to include vapor products, electronic cigarettes, and alternative nicotine products as offenses involving minors.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Councilmember Ashford, is there a second?
Support?
Councilmember Pemberton?
Madam Mayor, if I could, I'd like to ask Chief Plaster to give a brief update and reason why this needs to be done. Do you want to bring your SRO with you?
Oh.
Mayor, City Council, City Manager Freed. We've been in contact with Todd Shouty over this, and we sent all him our updates as to what we want to do with this. And basically, we're expanding like the sale and possession of tobacco products now we're to the vaping. So sale of vaping products to minors. The reason being is that this is becoming an epidemic with our youth regarding these vaping products, according to U.S. Surgeon General Jerome Adams. Under the state law regarding tobacco products is illegal for someone under the age of 18 years old to use and possess. This is both illegal under state and city ordinance. Our current city ordinance regarding tobacco, this does not include the nicotine products, which most vaping products includes nicotine, which like tobacco is highly addictive. The vape juice, which is commonly referred to, is placed in what's known as an e-cigarette, which most vaping products contains the nicotine. And then those that don't contain harmful chemicals that produces the harmful effects to the minors. Over the past year, we've seen an increase with minors vaping citywide. This is not a school issue, this is a citywide issue. We see it in our parks, we see it in our public streets, we see it in businesses, we see it in vehicles as we're going down the road. So with that, I have spoken with our 2 school resource officers and to kind of get their feel on it as what they're seeing at the school, because they deal with minors every day. And they said that it's occurring both at the high school level and the intermediate schools. Kids are not realizing how dangerous vaping is to their health. And what our officers are seeing and experience is that these minors are placing these vape juices, they call it, which most of the times contains the nicotine. And now what they're doing is they're taking THC, marijuana, and placing it into the vape products also. So when you think that you're inhaling the vape products, they're actually inhaling the marijuana also. Just like cigarettes, we're adding the vaping and vaping products like vapes. They're called vapes, vaporizers, hookah pipes, vape pens, e-cigarettes to the ordinance that allow our officers the ability to take proactive enforcement. We did find one interesting statistic that I wanted to give, that a recent study from 2017 to 2018 by the Food and Drug Administration has shown that vaping among our youth has increased. In high school students by 78%, and our middle-aged students 48%. And the reason why we're coming to council tonight is that the U.S. Surgeon General is calling on parents and teachers to educate their children about the dangers of vaping. And they're asking local authorities to use any strategies to discourage vaping among young people because, that, again, they don't understand the dangers of this. And again, this vaping juice contains that nicotine. And now we're seeing that they're even expanding it even more to marijuana being placed into it. So again, this is not a, I've brought Officer Phillips with me. She is one of our school resource officers. She deals with the minors, but again, I just want to stress this. This isn't just a school problem. This is a citywide problem. I mean, if you go down the street and you see a car full of young adults and you see it with a cloud in there.
Right, that's what's going on.
That's what's happening. They're vaping, so.
Any questions for the chief?
Yeah, Mayor Rep?
Yes, Councilmember Ward.
So reading through this, it's going to be 18 years or older is that going to be the limit? Is that similar, just changing it, furnishing tobacco, vapor products, electronic cigarettes, products to minors, is that going to be, you have to be 18 to purchase it?
Right, so under the age of 18.
Yeah, so really it's going to be, is there anything right now for even the party stores and the people the gas stations who sell these things? Are they going to, is there already an ordinance out there or a state thing that they can't sell under 18, or is it just, are we going to be within our city limits? We're changing it now and being proactive.
It's regulated by the Food and Drug Administration, but we're going to be enacting it through our city ordinance that we can take enforcement for the businesses that sell to a minor.
So we're just going to, we'll put it on, if we put this on the record for the 18, we're just going to notify them all that we have a new ordinance and they're not going to be, it's going to be enforced. That they can't sell vapor products and these other alternative things to anybody 18 or, that's not 18 years of age, correct?
Yes, we want to be proactive with
Yep.
this, and I mean, we would contact the businesses that are
That's good.
selling the vape pens, the
Yep.
Hookah pipes and that,
Yep.
and let them know about the city ordinance.
It doesn't seem too unreasonable. It seems like it is a widespread out there. Everywhere you see it, and you can see how they could be influenced by, younger kids maybe thinking it's cool and that, but it is, as they said, harmful. I have a question on just some of the change wording here going, again, doing some little language in this thing, just changing it to the police chief, where it used to said, Director of Public Safety. But I did see also here, can you tell me the difference that it's going to affect, that it's going to be a civil infraction? I think it was changed from a misdemeanor to a civil infraction. Is that something, what is the significance of that, on the person that gets, caught or fined or violates this? What's the difference between a civil infraction and a misdemeanor?
Well, a misdemeanor can be anything from a 90-day to a 93 up to a 1-year misdemeanor, which a person could actually be arrested for, could be brought back to the police department, could be processed, which means fingerprints, photographed. A civil infraction is a ticket that we could write out on the street. We could issue it to them, and then they could go to the court and take care of it, or they could contest it, and it also allows a lower of a fine, too.
Yeah, so for their young kids, will it be not as harmful on their a record type of thing?
Correct. I mean,
Yep.
compared to civil infraction, what you could get for driving through a red light,
Yep,
you're going to
okay.
be getting a civil infraction.
I noticed that. I appreciate that thought as well in here. Thank you for taking the time to do this.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Ashford.
Yes, and I see the heart of this is addressing the nicotine because all the other verbiage is just changing because we don't have that department anymore, so you just get some wordsmithing here. Yeah.
Yeah, we added nicotine because it said tobacco products. Nicotine wasn't included. We spoke with the prosecutor's office, and they said that wouldn't quite cut it. So
Cut
we
it,
need
yeah.
those nicotine verbiage in that specifically.
And as our jobs as city council members, that's one of the things we can do is enact ordinances as part of this and helping you, give you the teeth and to be proactive about this. So I just wanted to bring that out. And while I'm at this, we got our reports today from our city manager, and I'd just like to commend you, Chief, and also you too, on the job that you guys have been up to since January the 1st. It's like a madhouse with we all see that? It was like a madhouse, and you guys were really, the crime and the stuff, not that we're out of control, it's just so much has been happening, and you have, come up to the mark. I mean, you addressed it, it wasn't left there, but you did your jobs, and you did a fantastic job, and that's to be commended. You all should be commended for that. So thank you so much for what you do. Yeah, I do, I think, because that was rough. Yeah.
My job is easy. It's the men and women of the police department that go out there every day, and as we call it, putting boots out on the street and answering the calls for service. It's my job just to kind of steer the ship and give them the equipment and the training that they need, but these are the real heroes out there every day.
I know the women, we are always, but it's just us working together, and we need that. And I read that throughout his report, with everybody working together and what you did and what you were able to achieve and accomplish, what results, So that's to be addressed and acknowledged. So thank you.
Regarding this ordinance too, I would like to say thanks to Officer Phillips. She took the time and effort to bring this to my attention, just to start running with it. She did all the legwork on it. We met with the prosecutor's office. She met with the prosecutor's office. She's been in contact with Mr. Chowdy. So she reached out to other departments to see what they were doing in their communities. So she's the one that gets all the credit up here.
Well, congratulations. Thank you. Anything else on this?
Madam Mayor, if I could, just before Officer Phillips leaves. Officer Phillips, when we were doing the school resource officer and deploying that, real candidly, it was really hard to write a job description because there was so much you were going to be exposed to and what you had to do. And at the time, it was said to me by the command staff, we have to find the right people who will create this position and make it work. And that was critical to making it work. And since you and Officer Heisman have taken those roles, you have really built that position into something that we didn't even know what to expect and the benefits of it, and you've done a remarkable job. You've built trust and confidence with not only the school administration, but more difficulty, the students, and we have seen the benefits of nexusing the school life with your out-of-school life and what that does for our caseload, and it really would not have been possible if it wasn't for you and Officer Heisman kind of taking leadership and creating what that position really is, so thank you for that.
Thank you. That's it. Thank you. We will take the vote.
Councilmember Beeden?
Yes?
Councilmember Harris?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Warden?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Ashford?
Yes.
Mayor Rep?
Yes, that concludes our regular agenda. I have one announcement. We are meeting as a special city council meeting, be held next week, Tuesday, February 19th at 6 p.m. in our conference room 408 upstairs. It's a time for the council to discuss the goals for the next fiscal year. We are asking that suggestions or ideas for the benefit and advancement of the city be emailed to the city clerk at clerk@porthuron.org. Any responses that come in will be shared with the entire city council for consideration during the goal-setting session. So we encourage people, if you have anything you want to comment on or suggest, please do that. And is there anything else from council?
Mayor Rep,
Councilmember Ward.
I just want to add also, if any citizens out there actually want to reach out to us as council members as well, leading up to that meeting, feel free to contact us as always. We have our individual emails and phone numbers on there as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mayor Rep.
Yes, Councilmember.
Just one final note. Another season comes to a close, and the last high school hockey game of the year is this Saturday afternoon, or this coming Saturday at 1 p.m., and then the seasons move on to the regionals in Macomb County. So if you get a chance to come out and see some high school hockey, that's your last chance this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on council that has anything?
Madam,
Councilmember?
Mayor Rep, I would just like to salute Black History Month. That's what I'm up here in. And just because I'm in this, it's just that we just live in a society where diversity is number one. I could have been sitting up in here in an Indian outfit because my parents is the Indian background. But other than that, I just like the people to take the time. It's not just for people of color. You know, if you want to try to get closer and try to build relationship between people of different nationalities and races or whatever, you know, just take time to pick up something and learn something about Black history and see the significant and all the achievements that Black people have made throughout the century. I don't think you can get up in the morning without noting if you iron your clothes. I mean, that's created by a Black person. You eat potato chips, that's a Black person. You eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, that's a Black person. But even though without that, it's just that the kids nowadays, you know, we just forget where we come from, and we have to build that self-esteem for both of us, for all of us, in order to get to that unity and respect for one another. So just thank you for letting me have those few comments.
Thank you for bringing that up. I was assuming you would when you were dressed like that.
Well, you know, that's why I told you I could have been in the Indian outfit.
you could have been.
So it's not always what you see, you know, because we got the Indian there too, so. Yeah.
Anybody else on council have anything? Did you want to say
yeah,
something?
I want to take a moment. Today in the audience that we have Representative Shane Hernandez, now chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, the most powerful committee in Lansing. It's hard to believe that the nerdy architect I met in 2014 is now chairman of the Appropriations Committee. I wanted to take a moment because this is critically important. When we were trying to get our pension bonding bill through the Michigan legislature, the first hurdle was the Senate. And we were able to assemble Senate leadership from across the state to help usher that through the Senate, get it out of committee and get it to the Senate. But in lame duck, there's a short window of time. My fear was that although we achieved the Senate hurdle, it would go and quietly die in the House. Things go to committee and die all the time. If it wasn't for now Senator Lowers and Representative Hernandez, who kept pressure on the committee, who's now the Speaker of the House, to get that, I went and met with the chairman of the House Competitiveness Committee, and I said, we really want to get this out of committee, and I gave him the whole little shtick, and then he said, well, I've already talked to Lowers and Hernandez, and then we're going to get this out of committee on Thursday. I mean, is that type of legislative leadership, what that means is that, what happens in the rooms of Lansing with Representative Hernandez and Senator Lowers, what that means to our city is that we're going to be able to refinance our pension liability to be able to ensure public safety and create reduced taxes in the future. And so, Representative Hernandez, I want to thank you for your leadership. I told Senator Lowers today, if you accomplish nothing more in the next 2 years, that was enough for me. It was that significant of a hurdle for our city. We fought for, I would say, the better part of 3 years. We began pursuing that legislative remedy, and it wasn't until December when you and Senator Lowers and former Senator Phil Pablo really delivered for this community. I know you go to Lansing 3 days a week, and people don't see you, and they probably wonder what you're doing there. But you are not hobnobbing around. You are actually working and getting stuff done for our community. So thank you for your leadership. Thank you for getting results for our community.
Thank you. Thank you.
If there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Get the meeting adjourned.
Oh, shoot, it's hard enough. Okay, so you don't help us out.
Oh, no, it's